Howdy, friends. It's Annie, back with you from the fruited plains out here in the middle of nowhere. I hope you all had a great day. It's finally Friday for a lot of you. Well, for all of us, but if you're punching a time clock, I think it might matter a little bit more. I appreciate everybody that watched my video last night or this morning, whenever. And I appreciate all the comments about the credit card theft that we experienced. One guy wrote in, and I mean, a lot of people had a lot of great ideas and suggestions, but one that stood out was a guy that said he had a lot of trouble with his bank and finally kind of got it worked out. And a lot of others were very, it didn't seem that hopeless. But anyway, today we went to our bank. I'm just going to pick up on my story where I left off last night. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch my video from last night, and then you'll know. I'm too tired to go off too long tonight. It's been a day. Anyway, we got to our bank at 1 o'clock sharp. And our bank's 70 miles away. We banked over there for 7 or 8 years. Excuse me. Anyway, the lady that greeted us went and got me a cup of coffee and was super friendly and sweet. And she said, yeah, I'll go get your banker. Well, our banker wasn't back from lunch yet. And there was nobody in the lobby, just me and my husband, cooling our heels. Well, she said, Bob's gonna see you. Bob's not his real name, okay? And I've got a reason for that at this point in time. So Bob comes out and greets us, shakes our hands, introduces himself. We go back to his beautiful office with a built-in bookcase made out of cherry wood. It was beautiful. And I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but whatever. Anyway, we all sat down and we explained the situation to Bob. Well, he wants to know if we've, got copies, got duplicates, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we do. And he goes, well, do you mind if I go make a copy? No, that's fine, Bob. Thanks. It's a great idea. But Bob's gone a good 10 minutes. And I thought that was kind of taking a while to make some copies when I'm sure he didn't do it himself. But finally, Bob comes back to his office with this lovely blonde-haired lady. And my husband, I missed this somehow. I guess I didn't hear her. She was introduced as the CEO of the bank. And, she had her red alert radar going. So we go through the whole thing with her again. And I called my credit card company in front of them. And the credit card company, once again, was pretty defensive. And I just said, all I need to know is, when was the last day you received a payment from us? And the lady told them what I'd already told them. And the amount. She confirmed that. And then I said, have you received a payment for $4,300? in October at any time. No. I said, okay, thank you. I asked the bankers, is there anything else you want me to ask Mrs. Credit Card Company? Nope. So we get off the phone. Well, the CEO proceeds to tell us that she knows how awful it is because she herself had to deal with it. Well, she didn't say who it was or the situation, that somebody had stolen all of her personal information and the battles that she'd went through to get everything fixed and whatever. And then she went on to tell us that her husband had his Social Security number stolen, and we heard all about that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear about it. Glad you got it fixed. But in the meantime, what are we going to do about this? Well, we've got this great investigative fraud team, and they take this stuff very seriously. And I said, what about the $4,300? Well, Mrs. Oakley, that's on you at this point in time. Well, I got a little abrasive and let her know in no uncertain terms what I thought about it all. And I also said, it would seem to me like you guys would have some sort of insurance to protect against these things. Well, no, but you can buy it. And I'm like, pass. I just figured you'd have that built in or something. Then they tell us that, this fraud business is a huge problem. However, they've never had this problem in western Kansas at this bank branch. So I'm thinking that's pretty cool. Well, they ask us, did you put the mail in the mailbox at night? Well, of course we did not. We never do. Anyway, they tell us that, the mail fraud thing is a big deal. She tells us about a mail carrier in a nearby town that we're both familiar with, that when he was delivering mail, if he'd see a birthday card or a Christmas card or something, he would take it home, open it, help himself to little Johnny and Susie's birthday money, and it went on for a while, but he got caught. And she said, it's pretty common, the mail fraud business. Well, I Googled it, and according to Google, 1.7 million pieces of mail get stolen every day. Now that's quite a bit of mail. Anyway, we were there for probably an hour, and they got copies of whatever they needed and whatever, and then we left. And we were both pretty upset when we left. And so we went over to Walmart, got some groceries, getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner out here on the farm with all the kids, and get back out to the car. And I said, I've got a great idea. I got a great idea, darling. And he goes, what's that? And I said, well, it's 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever it is. I said, do you reckon Bob's still over there at the bank, or do you think he's keeping banker's hours today? Well, I don't know, he says. So I called the bank, and I got Bob on the phone. And he was a little apprehensive to start with, and I was super friendly. And I said, Bob, I really appreciate you and Mrs. CEO for taking the time to help us with our issue today. And he goes, oh, well, yeah, that's what we're here for. And I said, one more thing, Bob. And he's like, what's that? I said, well, I have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to talk about this on my YouTube channel. And he goes, oh, okay, you know, whatever. So I get off the phone. Husband and I come home, and it takes us an hour and a half to do what we're doing. Come home, to go to town out here. I mean, I've told you guys before, the closest town is 20 miles, and it's just a little bitty town. And we don't do much business there. We do some, but not a lot. So we're discussing this mess all the way home. And get the groceries carried in. And my husband sits down to eat his supper, because out here on the fruited plains, in the evening we eat supper. We don't eat dinner. We eat dinner at noon. Okay? We don't eat lunch here. Just saying. But anyway, his phone rings. Now, I wasn't there when he answered the phone. And he starts talking to this person, and he gives the guy his email address, and the guy says, well, I'm sending you some forms, and the local cops are going to be in touch with you. And my husband's like, okay. So apparently, I'm thinking that when Bob got off the phone with me, he went skipping out to the CEO to tell her that I'd called. And, oh, guess what? We're going to be on YouTube. Well, I'm guessing Mrs. CEO wasn't quite as impressed as Bob. And so they got on the whole fraud investigative team a little bit quicker than they had planned on. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a police officer out here in the morning. But if there's not, before I get my own ducks in a row, I think we're going to run over to the sheriff's office in the morning and fill out a little report of our own and get on it. You know, I need my $4,300. You know, I might have wanted to make a payment to the bank with that money. I might have wanted to give it to my kids. I might have wanted to go buy an ounce of gold. But thanks to somebody named, allegedly, Carly Phillips, I don't have that choice today. And I'm sure Carly Phillips would not be smart enough to be listening to a stacking video. You know, she's probably watching videos about fake eyelashes and 6-inch long green fingernails, or God only knows what, or worse, in my opinion. So I would just want to say to Carly Phillips, Carly, give my money back, because we're coming for you. And it'd be a lot easier, better for you, if you just returned our money. I did look up punishment for mail theft. Well, it depends on how much money you stole. The more money, the worse it is for you. So, you know, you might get to spend a month in county, or it could be even worse. But be 3 hots and a cot, you know. That wouldn't cost $4,300. It'd be free. Free medical care. So I wish Carly was listening, but I'm sure she's not. And really, if you had a couple brain cells to rub together, why would you put your name on the back of the check? Because it appears this check was electronically deposited, which I've never done that before. I mean, I'm old school, and I plan on being old school. But look what old school got me, through no fault of our own. I'm very disappointed. You know, it not only does it make you feel very violated, you know, you have to jump through hoops. I mean, I really wasn't planning on going to the bank today, driving 150 miles round trip. I wasn't planning on going to the sheriff's office tomorrow, 40 miles round trip. Nobody's going to fill my car up or go fix the tire that's going flat on it, because I live out here in the country and we get nails. And I'm not trying to sound like a whiny victim, but I am so pissed that this happened. Because if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody. Online, you know, paper checks, whatever. Like, seriously, what has the world come to? And I mean, you know, I watch YouTube videos. Like, some of my favorites are the body cam videos. You know, I'm not completely naive. I know crap happens in the cities, but when it trickles down out here, it really makes you wonder, like, what the heck? You know, what the heck? You don't know who your neighbors are anymore. And I have no idea who stole the check. Did somebody at our post office? Or did somebody in the mail sorting room? Or did it make it to the credit card company and somebody tucked it in their purse or their pants pocket? I mean, it would seem like the bank that cashed the check, you know, you would have just kind of thought maybe because of the amount of the check and my husband's name on the check that they'd never seen before, that it would have given them pause. I don't know. My stacking friends, my prepping friends, I appreciate you all. To the lady, I think her name's Mary, that told me to get a Uniball 307 pin. They didn't have 307s, but they had 207s. So I went and got one at the office supply store there in the town where our bank is. And I read all your comments. God bless you all for caring and giving me ideas and encouragement. I know Coin Shop Chris has sent some of you over, and you know, I see your names in different YouTube videos, and some of you guys, I feel like I kind of know you, even though I don't, and you don't know me. But we have some camaraderie, and it's greatly appreciated by me. Give your loved ones a hug and tell them you love them. Thank you for your support. Keep your head on a swivel. I'm out.